going to ever be able to do this because you didn't start 15 years ago. And we were talking about that before we started, because I started doing a video blog. Actually, I started doing a video blog at the direction, nay, pressuring of Brian Stevens and Frank Garay with the National Real Estate Post. And they were relentless, calling my family to get them to pressure me into doing video, calling my coworkers to get them to pressure me into doing video. And 15 years ago, I started doing a weekly video blog with some mortgage content. And it was awful for a number of reasons. One, there's nothing more boring than mortgages, maybe tax law. unless you're in the throes of buying or refinancing a home, you don't care. And because of that, you could tell that I wasn't enamored with the content, and did that for a few weeks. And then Brian called me and said, "You're an idiot." Okay, why? So you've been coaching real estate agents for a long time now. Why isn't that your content? And the light bulb went off, and the content became fun. And literally 15 years, probably 14, but coming up on 15, every week, well, let's call it 40 or 45 blog posts, video blog posts a year. I never run out of energy for it. I never run out of content for it. It's just amazing. Now, I'm always in awe of Brian and the National Real Estate Post, because doing 5 or 6 minutes of content a day is impressive. I'm doing 2 or 3 minutes of content a week. So it's a little more palatable for me to do that. But nonetheless, I would still start doing it today if I hadn't. And I would absolutely make sure that one of the big keys to this is that you don't develop any analysis paralysis. Just hit that button. Just go, shoot, record, stream, post, whatever it is you're going to do with the video, but you'll get better at it as time goes on. All right, so let's move right through the presentation. One of the things that I think is really important for everybody to understand here is that video marketing is an opportunity for you guys to have such a significant audience growth, such significant audience reach, these kinds of things, that you've really got to take into account the fact that you are doing lead gen work, you're doing client retention work, you're doing active client transaction management type of work, one-on-one. With video marketing, you're going to shift that to 1,000-on-1. Now, yes, without equivocation, the number one objection we get, and I know a lot of you have it, is that you don't like the way you look and sound on video. Well, that's how you look and sound in person. So get over that and get into an arena where you're comfortable with being uncomfortable doing the video, if that's what the hang up is. Okay, and do understand and also be comfortable with the fact that it's not going to be perfect. And if you're going to do live video, you're going to have flubs and flaws. And if you're going to stream video, you're going to have flubs and flaws. And if you want to get into production video and do a little bit of editing and polishing, then great, you can solve that. And we'll have some other ideas here on how you guys can do some of those things to make it more polished without a lot of work. And just so you guys know, our weekly video blog, it's usually about 2.5, 3 minutes long. The weekly little tip, and I'm sure you can find it on every platform, is edited by a VA overseas. Now, for years and years, I did the video editing myself. I like doing it. I integrate a lot of pop culture, and it was fun for me. But for the $20 I pay my VA to do the video editing, buying back 2 or 3 hours of my life, and good video editing should take about an hour per finished minute of production video, it was well worth it. It's kind of along the lines of whether or not you wash your own car, mow your own grass, those kinds of things. Okay, I love doing it, but our coaching clients know, Josh knows, that you got to get to a point where you're only doing things that you either really love to do or really pay you well. That's actually the goal for one of the goals for all of our coaching clients. All right. So this is video marketing for Showami. Okay. I just want to give you guys a little bit of a warning. I do try my best because I have so much respect for Showami and for the Kuchars that during the course of the pandemic, you guys probably remember this little thing we had called the pandemic. Staying at home, I lost a lot of my filter and I became a really good cook and baker. So you guys now get me plump and unfiltered. All right. Like we do at the beginning of every one of these for Showami, a little bit of 2 truths and a lie. If you want to follow me on Instagram and send me a message there as to which of these things. I was once an endurance race car driver. I'm a fourth generation Denver Broncos season ticket holder. And at one time, I was a rock concert security guard. If you want to follow us on Insta and message me which of those that you think is the lie, if you're right, I've got a pretty cool prize for you guys. All right. Video. Why you need video. Okay. First, right off the bat, we're building trust. We all know like, and trust. It's the three kings, as it were, when it comes to the things you have to have in order to get, develop, and build relationships in order to get people to want to use you to buy and sell their homes. That's the bottom line. Okay. Video obviously is going to have a greater reach. There really isn't a whole lot of marketing that you guys can do that's going to touch an audience in such a great manner with such a valuable message, depending on what your message is, than doing video. And when it comes to these platforms that we were discussing, a lot of it you guys were listening to before we went live, whether it was YouTube or Insta, anything on Meta, really, anything in Google, TikTok, on and on, the social media algorithms, and obviously that's something you guys do need to be paying attention to, how to improve your edge rank on these platforms, is that it loves video. The social media platform algorithms love video. Live video even more, and we'll get into some of those kinds of things as well. And okay, Josh, I know
we gotta. I'm gonna put a pause real quick and let's talk about that. So, if you're wondering why in the world do all these platforms love video, number one reason is it's something that's very hard to fake. The truth is the algorithms are really liking it because it's hard to fake. And the second piece that they really like is when you're talking and you're able to add those captions in, that's more information that they can grab and know about you, your business, and the people that you want to talk to. When you do a regular post, you just do a caption and then alt text. In a video, you have all of the captions for your video, and that little piece of information is able to tell those algorithms there's more to you than just the picture.
Absolutely. There's more to you than just the picture, the copy, the graphics, your usage, your scrolling, all of the things that the algorithm picks up on. Absolutely important. And if you're doing this properly, and Josh, maybe we ought to do another one sometime down the road on AI, because the first exercise we make clients do, coaching clients do with AI, is building the perfect client avatar. So you've got to teach your AI. If you're a ChatGPT user, great. I prefer Gemini, but you've got to teach it who you are, what you do about your business, all these things in order to build the perfect client avatar. And we're basically trying to take advantage of the same kind of thing in the social media algorithms so that our audience, who that content is being shown to, is part of that. If you're doing videos, and I'm just going to throw an example out there and we'll talk about what types of videos these would be about, being a vegan and you're showcasing vegan restaurants or vegan grocery stores or vegan recipes or whatever the case may be, because you want to attract an audience like that. You want to attract people that think like you, that are like you. They'll already have a degree of know, like, and trust. You'll prefer working with them. You'll organically repel the people that you wouldn't want to work with, right? The trash takes itself out, those kinds of things. But if we jump through the hoops, if we go through the exercises of essentially building a client avatar, perfect client avatar, whether it's through video or another manner, it's going to produce better results. There's just no question about it. Now, go ahead and bring the slides up bigger, Josh, rather than my ugly mug. Okay. All right. Guys, there are two reasons, big reasons, umbrellas, as it were, that you need to be doing video. You got to be doing video for the business you already have. Now, that's an interesting one that a lot of people don't do or think of, and I will get well into the weeds on that. And then obviously videos for the business you want. Now, with all things video, with all things social media, obviously the ultimate goal is to get more people to consume more of your content. So that one's an easy one. We're doing video. Please do remember, people want to know who you are, not what you do, which is why we talk about our coaching client that's a vegan, or the one that's a chicken rancher, farmer, for lack of a better term, or the one that's a beekeeper, even though she's deathly allergic to bees. That makes for hilarious video content, by the way. Not that she's getting stung and dying, nothing like that. So the one for doing videos for the business you want is obvious. Doing videos for the business you already have, not so much, but maybe as, if not more important, and I'll explain. Okay. Under those two headings, there are also multiple types of video. Short form, right? We've talked about this already today. And for those of you that were listening to Josh and I have a little banter before we went live, TikTok, Reels, Shorts. This is an important form of video format right now. A lot of it because it's very, very popular, right? Reels, Shorts, and TikTok is probably the biggest segment of what goes on in social media right now. But more importantly, your audience, they've got the attention span of a gnat. So we want to be doing video content that is quick to grab. We have a hook, we have calls to action, and that we're doing interesting content because that's what that's about. Now, live video, like we're doing right here, and we will certainly talk about streaming, is basically available on almost every platform. Facebook has live, although I'm stunned at how little it's utilized. Instagram does, and obviously stories are like that. YouTube absolutely does live. If you have some history with LinkedIn, you probably do have access to LinkedIn Live. In fact, I am streaming this to my LinkedIn channel right now. If you are to my LinkedIn page channel, I don't know exactly what the proper definition is there, to my LinkedIn, because I've utilized it enough that I was able to be a beta tester for LinkedIn Live, and now I have access to it. However, do know that LinkedIn Live, unlike these other platforms, does require a streaming platform like StreamYard, which is what you guys are seeing right now. And then, of course, high production video, things where you're actually doing some editing. Okay. Now, I want to warn against that because we've been coaching on live video for a long, long time. In fact, that was our very first video module that we coached on. And as time went on, it became more and more where we were really seeing real estate agents just kind of making commercials. And that's not what we want for a number of reasons, because now it feels salesy. And I don't know about you guys, but if a commercial comes on the TV while I'm watching a movie, for example, I'm probably changing the channel. I'm already irate with Netflix throwing ads in and Amazon Prime throwing ads in. I don't want to watch commercials. And I would caution you in your production video that you're not just making commercials. Okay. So those are the big three. All right. So Reels, short form video in general. Instagram Reels is obviously Meta's version of TikTok. Very competitive right now, as is YouTube Shorts. And we'll get into that briefly. But these guys are all button heads with each other. Meta hates Google and TikTok hates Meta and so on and so forth. Right. Now, Insta allows Reels to be up to 180 seconds. That's an improvement from where it was at 120. Reels can be featured on your Explore page. That's where 50% of the users are going to find new people, new content. They also receive more engagement than the regular video content that you see on Insta. And let's not forget that because of all of this going on between TikTok, between Meta, between Google, Google owns YouTube, that they are constantly promoting right now. They, Facebook and Insta, Meta in general, are pushing Reels so hard in order to keep and hopefully gain more, at least for them, they're hoping to gain more market share from Google, YouTube, and TikTok, that they will continue to do that on your behalf. I can put a simple video or graphic or copy onto my Facebook news feed, and Meta, on my behalf, because I have my settings right, will convert it into a reel and push it into Insta and then push it into Threads. And the engagement from that will increase in such a dramatic fashion without me having to do any more work, that it's really, really valuable right now. Will that change? Probably. Social media platforms do, algorithms do. Social media platforms have come and gone over the years. I'm guilty where I can say I'm old enough that I had a MySpace page. Okay. So there are all kinds of shifts in that. So for the time being, we're going to do short form video. This is a great place to focus. Okay. Because it's going to promote you in a number of manners without you having to do all the cross posting, all of the uploading, those kinds of things. All right. TikTok. I don't think there's any secret as to the fact that TikTok is currently huge. If we're going to do short form video, why we wouldn't cross post across all three short form platforms available to us today is mind boggling. I will say this. I think it's best, if we're new to short form video, to start in TikTok. I think the in-app tools for the editing and for audio and for all of the different little toys and tools that you can use in order to make those videos more polished, more entertaining, more captivating is still stronger in TikTok than elsewhere. And of course, for the time being, you can take your TikTok videos and put them into Reels. And because of that competition that I was describing, because of the push, the fight for the market share, Reels, Insta, Facebook, Meta is going to let you do it. They're still even letting you do it without impacting the algorithm in an adverse manner with the TikTok watermark on it, although I would recommend removing it prior to doing it. That could come and go at a moment's notice as well. But the stats on TikTok are huge. Look at that one there. The average TikTok user is on 47 hours a month. That's a work week. A full work week more they are spending on TikTok. I cannot express how valuable this kind of usage is when it comes to getting your message out. It's really a big deal. Okay. So that's a big one. And then there's shorts. And I think all three are important. YouTube obviously is the granddaddy of video platform, social media video platform, that they are pushing, that Google is pushing shorts so hard to compete really with Meta. They're really not all that concerned about TikTok. While there is a fight for that market share, Google just hates Meta without equivocation. And it's a back and forth relationship. Josh and I talked about this on the last webinar. Don't ever put a YouTube link in your Facebook post. The Facebook algorithm is going to automatically suppress that post. We don't want to put outside links, period. Don't ever give your audience an opportunity to click away from Facebook, because Facebook is going to suppress that algorithm or suppress that post in your algorithm, and subsequent posts. You are hurting yourself. But the kiss of death is a YouTube link.
Oh, absolutely. And that goes for any platform. They could also be LinkedIn doesn't like your YouTube links either, even though they actually allow you to feed them into they have a feed that you can put to your YouTube. Yep. Is still they prefer you actually put the blog link in there. But now
LinkedIn has the native platform.
Exactly.
So just upload the video there. It's just as easy.
Right. So keep in mind that the platforms aren't a big fan of these, but also that Google owns YouTube. So one of the things that Google released this year was in search, you can also look up short form videos. And so if you don't think that they're going to favor their YouTube videos over Insta, over Facebook, that's dead wrong. When you go onto Google, you now have an option of like with their sixth option, right? We had maps, we had images, we had videos. Now you have short form video, which I thought was really interesting. So there's even more push to do these YouTube shorts than ever before.
Absolutely. And YouTube is promoting it on your behalf. Take advantage of these things. If you're going to move into any of these platforms for your video, take advantage of the fact that they are going to help you promote it. That they're essentially going to push you in the algorithm right now. That's enormous. I can't express how valuable having these big platforms pushing the things you should be doing on your behalf. They want you to do it. And if you abide, they will make it worth your while. Okay. So yeah, that's a really, really big one. So yeah, do take advantage. And that's really about it when it comes to the logistics of short form video. I do think you guys need to be doing it. I do think that there are a lot of people having a lot of success with doing content in the real estate space. Although the ones I'm seeing that are really killing it are, well, certainly not self-promoting. They're certainly not using it in a manner to sell houses, find buyers, these kinds of things. That's the byproduct. But they're doing things that are funny, that are kitschy, that are uniquely different. If my dog was a realtor, that kind of thing is absolutely captivating. And the subtext in there is that, hey, I'm a realtor and don't forget about me. But I'm actually doing direct video content on, hey, I'm a realtor and use me, please. I'm begging you to help me or to let me help you buy or sell your home. That's not what they're doing. It's textual. All right. So I do think that short form video is ridiculously valuable. All right. Let's talk about live video for a minute. And again, I do think that live video is still being underutilized. And I know Josh is a huge fan of live. I know Josh is a big fan of streaming. And I wanted to think just for a moment, right now, I probably do at least 2 to 3 live streaming videos for different audiences on different subjects every week. Okay, here's a good example. Right now, I am streaming this live to both my LinkedIn page and my YouTube channel. I do a lot on my personal Facebook page, a lot on my Facebook mortgage page, a lot on our coaching page, those kinds of things. And there are a lot of different platforms. There are a lot of ways to shape the audience. There are a lot of ways to tinker with the algorithms in these different platforms, especially the ones that do have live video. So I do think that this is really, really valuable. I think long term, this is as valuable as short form video. I don't know what the long-term life of the short form video will look like. My crystal ball is in the shop, but I do think that there's a lot of value to this. One, it's existed longer. And two, I think it will exist at least as long. And again, let me reiterate, maybe just coming from a different mouth because Josh said it, the algorithms, the social media algorithms love original organic content. And there is nothing more original or organic than live video. That's all there is to it. I can't fake it. That's my bookcase. That's Josh's orange jacket. We cannot fake much on live video. Now, of course, it takes time. It takes practice. Yeah. Good at it. It's going to take you some effort. And I'll talk about how to do some of this to get over the ums and the ahs and those kinds of things that we just have naturally in public speaking. Not that you can't overcome it. And there are great techniques to do that. Easy, I promise. But the social media algorithms thrive on original organic content. There's nothing more original and organic than live video.
All right, so let me ask this. This is a hot take question. So I'm just going to pop in and pop out on this one.
All right, let's see what the audience has to say.
All right. What are your thoughts on letting people know you're going to go live before you go live versus just going live? And what is the best strategy for actually going live? This is all kind of one question because I have a feeling I know where you're going, but let's hit this one.
Okay. It is a great question. There's no doubt.
It is a hot question.
It is a great question. And the answer is yes. Okay. So when I say that, I think it depends on the content, the platform, and the audience.
Sure.
Okay. So I do a lot of stream production videos. Now, I'm sorry, guys. I know that that's complex and confusing, and I just crossed over lines, and Dr. Ray Stantz told us not to cross the streams. And that was Dr. Spangler that told us not to cross the streams. But I will actually create a production video, go through the editing, save it as a finished product, then plug it into StreamYard to stream out to a specific audience at a specific time. Now, depending on what that content is, depending on who that audience is, yeah, I'll do an announcement. Okay, now let me express, say, Facebook, for example. Because if we're using Facebook Studio to do live, then yes, absolutely, because Facebook is going to do their normal notification process. Now, the neat thing about doing live in Facebook or scheduling a live in Facebook is that it's going to notify your entire audience that you scheduled a live. And if you want, it's going to notify your entire audience that you're getting ready to go live. 15 minutes ahead, 30 minutes ahead, that's up to you. And then it's going to notify your audience that you're live. So just that alone, with very little, literally a couple of clicks difference, to hit that Facebook audience in triplicate for the same content is very valuable to me. Now, don't get me wrong, if I happen to be driving in my car and something really cool is happening on the road, there's a car show. I did shoot some video yesterday. I got stopped on my way to the office by a really big funeral procession for what was obviously a fallen firefighter. Hundreds of vehicles. Antique fire trucks with the firefighters in their dress blues standing in the along the back of the fire truck out in the open air as this procession went by. Now, I'm not announcing that I'm doing that live. But if I'm able to just go, okay, Facebook video live, tap, 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 and then hold my phone out my windshield and let people see this really beautiful, meaningful procession go by, cool. But I'm not going to announce that I'm going live and then 5 seconds later go live. A lot of the time, I'm doing it because I want to let my audience prepare. And obviously, like you do in StreamYard, we can tee up a live stream and notify the audience earlier. And it's even easier to do with production video that way.
Yeah.
So, and then of course, StreamYard saves the videos that you upload. So if I want to run that same process again 2 weeks later, a month later, whatever, it's just a few clicks and my announcement is done 30 minutes before, whatever. And the video is just going to run all by itself. It's really cool.
I love it. All right. Let's get you to jump right back in.
All right. So I do think that this is valuable in a lot of senses. And I cannot express enough how valuable live video is for improving your edge rank in the social media algorithms. Okay. So take advantage of that, guys. All right. OBS and StreamYard are a couple that I've used and I'm very, very familiar with. Obviously, you guys are all watching us on StreamYard now. In fact, I think I may have turned Josh onto it. I think that.
Yes, you did.
So,
I'm pretty sure you did.
And prior to StreamYard, I investigated a bunch of when the time came. I was using OBS, which is open broadcast software. And OBS is really cool stuff. It is so robust, it will blow your mind. However, as a result, it's also very, very complex. The benefit to outweigh that deficit, however, is that it's absolutely free. Now, you can use OBS and stream to Facebook and LinkedIn and whatever other platforms you want to use, YouTube, etc. But it's really designed, this sounds terrible, but it's clearly designed for people that are streaming their live video gaming and their amateur pornography. So if you are a video gamer or have an OnlyFans page, maybe OBS is for you. If not, I would probably investigate some of these other platforms like StreamYard. And I will tell you the reasons I use it is that one, it's very simple. It's very user-friendly. It flows very nicely. And it's ridiculously cost-effective for what it provides. I think I'm on the very cheapest subscription, and I can stream to 3 different platforms at the same time. Although, Josh, you'll find this interesting. As the guest, I can only stream to 2.
Ah, interesting.
And I don't know if StreamYard knows when I log in to do an event with you that I'm not a paying StreamYard customer. But even still, if it doesn't, and I'm not a StreamYard user at all, I just join your stream.
Yeah.
I can still stream this out to 2 platforms live simultaneously, just as you are, I'm sure.
And guys, I think that's a good point to actually push for Streamer. And just so you guys know, we are not affiliated with Streamer, don't have part of their business, no stock in Streamer, none of those sort of things. So
although it's not a bad idea. Maybe we should.
No, maybe we should. Maybe we should get those things going. But you guys, the cool part is you can then look at hosting some of these live sessions just like we're doing and work with another agent in your office, work with your broker to stream on their platforms too, getting
your lender, your title rep, your your homeowner's insurance agent, all of your referral partners. Absolutely.
Yes.
So yeah, this is a fantastic methodology for doing live video. However, I do want to interrupt and have just a tiny little sidebar. We're not going to go far off the beaten path here. While I have been so vocal about the fact that social media, all of the platforms, love original organic content, in this case, live video, do know that all of them recognize that we're using StreamYard and that we are not native. We're obviously not on Facebook Live right now. We are streaming to Facebook Live right now. That's very different. However, I will tell you this. The hit that you're going to take in the algorithm, the hit that you're going to take in your edge rank for using a third-party platform like a StreamYard or an OBS will absolutely be compensated for by the fact that you're doing live video. Okay, so that's really just my 2 cents on when we're talking about the difference between being live in the native app and being live in a StreamYard going to the native app.
Well, and I think that even that hit, just so you guys know, is actually still compensated, like you said, because you're on multiple platforms as well.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's the other part to touch up on, is that this is streamed both on Facebook and Instagram. And then we have our own webinar set up for this. So you have 3 different platforms that this is going to, versus if we were just to do this on Facebook, I've got one platform only. And then on top of that, Adam can't add his to stream to either. So
Right.
it kind of has that sort of double edge where, yes, it's great to still stream directly to Facebook, but at the same time, it's a different use case. If you're doing a lot of educational pieces, StreamYard is definitely the way to go. If you're talking investing, if you're talking about different loan types, these sort of things are absolutely worth doing on your multi-platform, and then you can edit them later.
Yeah, but if you happen to be somewhere where you just found the greatest ice cream cone you've ever had, great. Pop into Facebook Live and say, hey, I'm at the Frosty Top ice cream parlor. I don't know where I came up with Frosty Top, but the Frosty Top ice cream parlor. And this place is amazing. You guys should check it out. And here's, what they look like and their selection and whatever it is.
Or even, I'll give you guys a simple example. I do this every single month. I have what I call Live with Liam. I have a son who is now 1.5 years old. And every single month I go live and I give people updates on our lives. We give people updates on how he's doing, what sort of things he's progressing with, what's new in our life. We go through what's going on in our businesses. And then we kind of jump into, is there any big news or anything that we need to share with the world? And having that monthly live gets a ton of exposure. It gets people really excited and gives them a window into our lives. But would I use StreamYard for something like that? No, I don't. No. I don't need to.
And I love StreamYard on my phone. I use it. But no, that's not the point and purpose. But what Josh is saying that you guys need to hear, that you really need to catch the subtext of, is that Josh is doing video, streaming video, in a constant and consistent manner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He is doing video on things that focus on the who he is, not what he does. Yep. He's letting his audience really know who he is, what goes on in his life. He's constant and consistent about it. And because it's live video, he is authentic and transparent.
Yeah.
All of those things. Now, Josh made it sound really simple. Hey, I just, do a live video with Liam once a month. Wait. So I'm constant, I'm consistent, I'm authentic, I'm transparent, and I'm using live video.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you just picked off all the boxes.
And guys, one of the funniest parts is the description of my video that I write up, because when you go live, you can start creating a description. It is literally just bullet points of what I'm going to hit in order of what I'm hitting, so that I actually don't forget what I'm supposed to talk about. Because sometimes my wife's like, you were supposed to mention this in your video, Josh. And I'm like, oh, crud, You're right.
It happens. It's live video.
Exactly.
And guys, I promise that's what your audience expects.
And I love that stuff.
It's not supposed to be perfect by any stretch.
No.
Right? All right. So this is a little screenshot of what StreamYard looks like for us as users, as the content creators. It's very simple to use. It's really friendly, easy to navigate. I cannot say enough good things about StreamYard, and they do keep advancing as time goes on. The captioning. And in fact, Josh, we may have talked about this just amongst ourselves at one point, that StreamYard now will also take a finished broadcast. So as soon as we're done, Josh is going to have the option of letting StreamYard's AI convert this long video into short 30-second clips. He doesn't have to do the work. StreamYard's AI is going to do the work and create short-form videos for him. Now, it may create 50 of them for him, and only 5 of them are really going to be usable, but he didn't have to do any work, so who cares? So those kinds of technological advancements are going on with StreamYard all the time. Well worth the money. I think that this would actually be a StreamYard video in its final phase, but I think because of the way we downloaded this for StreamYard, that having StreamYard inside of StreamYard, that's like 16 wall breaks, is not going to let us do it. But you guys
just created an Inception feel right there.
I did, right? And you guys are seeing
breaking the fourth wall.
Like. Right, that's right. We broke the fourth wall. So since you guys are seeing it right now, I'm not going to spend too much time on it. All right, moving on to high production video. And this is going to be something similar. I'm not going to force you guys to watch this video, but I do want to talk about this in some detail. Okay, because this is what I'm talking about when I talk about videos for the clients you have. Okay, now the task, the actual tenable, tangible, tactical task that you guys should be doing is milestone videos. I'm going to keep it easy. Okay, what I want you to do is make a list of the 12, maybe 8 to 15 as a wider band questions, your FAQs that your your buyers and your sellers, and they will be different, are asking on every transaction. And you guys know you're getting them. You're getting that same dumb question from every buyer, from every seller, whatever it is. Make a list of those questions. Okay. Then make a short video answering those questions. Do some editing with it. Put in your company logo, put in your contact information, a QR code, who to reach out to on your team, whatever the case may be. And then send out those videos before the buyer, the seller can ask the question. So they accept an offer on their home. Great. Shoot a video. You've accepted the offer. Here's what happens next. The inspection is done. Here's what happens next. The earnest money is delivered. Here's what happens next. Whatever it is, shoot those videos. You'll only have to do it every couple of few years. They only need to be a couple of few minutes long. And there are an enormous number of benefits here. One, if you answer the questions before your clients can ask them, the volume of stupid questions will drop. Those phone calls, those emails will drop. You'll free up some time. More importantly, it is going to be you talking to that client directly about the exact point in time of their transaction then and there. This, again, in a subtextual manner, really reinforces that, yes, they are your only client. And yes, you are working on their transaction 24 hours a day. And you're not. You better not be. That's not your job. Your job is to be out there finding more buyers and sellers. So if you have already secured a buyer or a seller and you're using these dozen videos over the course of their transaction to emphasize those things, that yes, you are working on their file, and yes, you're the only client they have, and yes, you are further building that psychological bond with them. Those are the kinds of things that pay enormous dividends in speeding up your cycle, easing your sales cycle, easing your process, making it easier on your team. Okay, this is one of the things where if a client is able to develop that degree of know, like, and trust, if they really feel these things, they really have a connection with you, because humans are weird. They're not going to question your process. They're not going to question your team when they get involved in the process. Humans are the only species that asks why. I tell the dog to come, the dog just comes. The dog doesn't ask why. When I tell a client, obviously different on the loan side, that I need all pages of their bank statement, including that last one that says left intentionally blank, they ask why. If we go through these processes of really developing this know, like, and trust, really developing this psychological bond, really doing good work with milestone videos, the degree of that goes down. The process becomes easier. Your team has an easier job, on and on. So please, please make a list of your FAQs for with buyers and sellers. Shoot some short videos answering the questions. Do some simple editing. I would have my VA do it, for example. That's simple. And then make sure they're going out at those milestones. Okay, your house is now active in the MLS. Okay, your home is now under contract. Whatever it is, figure out what those frequently asked questions are and use them to your advantage. This is really simple stuff if you take it step by step, and the results are incredible. Please believe me. All right. So there's a good example. That's one of them from what we do. And it's me just answering one of those questions, some very simple editing. Just so you guys are aware, that is not my office. Although it's funny because I do have people on my team who've done their research before coming in for an interview and literally thought that was my office. That's a stock YouTube video. And when it's playing, you can see the people moving a little in the computer monitors, flickering a little, those kinds of things. And then it's just me logo. At the end of the video, there's a little bit of copy. Hey, if you have questions about your transaction, call my transaction director at this number, or email my transaction assistant at this address, whatever the case may be. Because again, your videos might spark more unique questions, but play a little bit of gatekeeper and get those questions answered in a different manner. One of the things I use in our coaching a lot is don't be Google. If there are questions that other people should be answering, like if you guys are all real estate agents and your clients are asking you loan questions, that's one for your lender. That's a question for your lender. That's a question for Bob. That's a question for Jane. Do not be Google. Okay. Know your worth, know where your expertise lies, and don't let your clients take advantage of you in that manner. Okay. So yeah, don't be Google, but use these milestone videos to really help further you that way. All right. The keys to really great production video, obviously, again, be authentic, be transparent. Number two, even more important than good video quality is good audio quality. You guys will see my boom mic here. Josh has one as well. I have incredible wireless labs. I have incredible studio labs, these kinds of things. Good audio is cheap, really cheap. I mean, this boom mic may have been $30, and the cost of consumer electronics goes down over time. My 2-channel wireless that I just carry in my backpack if I'm going to do video from my phone or my laptop, I think it was $20. A good wired lav, probably $20. In fact, I used to keep one here on my desk at home. I don't see it. Neither here nor there. A dual channel wireless lav for the studio, also very, very cheap. So please invest a little bit in some good audio. I've got a couple of coaching clients. One's in real estate. She's in Vegas. And she's been doing some really cool videos where she's setting the camera out at the street. And it might be this big sweeping driveway, automatic gate. And she's walking away from the camera up the driveway, and she's getting further and further away from the microphone. And the audio gets so bad, I can't watch the video. And a quick fix with a good wireless lav, solved. Another one, a mortgage guy, and he's actually in Florida as well, Josh. He does the most amazing, engaging mortgage content. He's doing incredibly educational videos on mortgages, which you wouldn't think would really be a thing that people would engage with mortgage content, but they do because he's so good at it. He's so entertaining with it, and he refuses to use a microphone. I just broke down and bought him one. Here, I'm just buying you a microphone. You got to use it. This is insane. Quit doing this because you're garbled or there's static or I can hear background noise, whatever the case may be. Okay. And then the third one is the scripting. When we're doing production video, like you guys should do with your milestone videos, please, for the love of God, even if you're an incredible extemporaneous public speaker, script your video. Now, here's the secret to that. Script it in the same way you would write. In the same way you would speak. Write your scripts how you would speak. Now, if that means you want to use voice dictation, by all means, do that. But this is one of those crucial steps in what Josh and I were talking about earlier when it comes to getting over the ums and the ahs and the hesitations and the awkward pauses, is that if you will simply script your videos in a manner in which you speak. When you go to read that script, it's going to sound like the way you would normally just speak without all of those hiccups. So please, good scripting is also a really important piece of the puzzle when it comes to doing some of this production video work. Okay. Be authentic, be transparent. Again, please focus on the fact that your audience is really a lot more interested today in who you are than what you do. They know what you do. If your audience doesn't know what you do, we probably need to have a marketing 101 conversation. The other piece of that I always find really funny is when people start videos saying, "Hi, this is Adam with Just the Tips Coaching." Well, you guys are literate. It says that right on the screen. Adam with Just the Tips Coaching. Josh Kuchar with Showami. You don't need to introduce yourself in your videos.
Well, I think you brought a good point, guys. When you're doing your intros, the hook is so important, whether it be short form or long form, and assume your audience knows who you are. So we skip that first part, just like Adam said. That's huge. In fact, I can't stress enough how often we see people say, like you said, "Hi, my name is Josh Kuchar. I'm a real estate agent in Fort Myers, Florida, and here's some really
Josh,
cool."
you just blew 4 of the first 6 seconds you have to get my attention.
Yeah.
You just wasted it. I've already scrolled on.
Versus here are the top 10 homes in the Fort Myers market. starting at number 10. Boom. And then at the very end,
and now I want to see the top 10 homes.
Yes. Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. So that is really important. It is one of those pieces that we all did it for years and years. We introduced ourselves.
Guilty, 100% guilty.
And for the life of me, I still can't figure out why we did. All right. We talked about the audio and we talked about the scripting. All right. So guys, just stop overthinking all of this. Video marketing is really not complex. We're going to do the milestone videos, and I recommend that you do. Figure out what those most frequently asked questions are. Script out some easy answers. Record them. Do a little bit of light editing. And as those triggers occur, as those milestones occur, get the video out to your clients before they can ask the question. It's really that simple. We're going to do live video. That's an easy one because we're just live. We're just going to talk. That one's really a no-brainer. If we're going to do streaming, yeah, there's a little more integration there. You've got to learn an OBS. You've got to learn a StreamYard. You've got to learn how to connect your StreamYard to your LinkedIn, for example. But none of this is complicated. None of it is worthy of that analysis paralysis. And I'll plug Chad again, just because I think it's so valuable when it comes to video marketing. Chad Preo is a colleague of mine. He wrote a wonderful book called The Art of Getting Shit Done. Take imperfect action. And do that. Take imperfect action. You guys start doing this and you are constant and consistent, you're going to get so much better, so much faster that it won't make any difference. And I do think it's really important to know when we're talking about the videos for the clients you want. So we're doing lives, we're doing shorts, whatever the case may be. Maybe you guys are budding chefs and you're going to do some cooking videos, and I'm all about that. I love to cook. I will give you guys a little word of warning. During the pandemic, I did do a video montage of one of the meals I had prepared, including the bread dough, kneading in my bread machine. A bot at Facebook thought it was pornography. And granted, the loaf of bread did look like an old man's butt. I'm not going to lie. Or the dough, I should say. The loaf of bread didn't once it was baked. And during the pandemic, nobody was in Facebook's offices. So there was no way to appeal it, no way to contest it, no way to get somebody to say, hey, look, go check out the video. It's a bread machine. It's not an old guy's butt. And I got a 30-day Facebook ban over that video. Okay, so I will give that word of warning, and I do have a lot of content out there where hopefully people will learn from my mistakes so that they don't have to make them themselves. But if you're that budding chef, you want to do some cooking videos, great, do that. Have any idea how big the audience of budding chefs is out there? Do you have any idea, even if we narrow it down to the budding chefs that are someday going to buy or sell a home? Well, we didn't really narrow it down there. Neat thing about being a real estate agent, pretty much everybody you come across, social media audience, video audience, the clerk in the grocery store, the gas station attendant, they either own real estate, want to, or know someone who does. So pretty much everybody you come across is a potential client, lead, or advocate. Take that into account when you're doing this kind of video work, because your audience is really broad. What I'm suggesting with, say, cooking videos, and there are 1,000 of examples. Maybe you're an equestrian. Maybe you're a dog lover. Whatever it is, run with your tribes, because those are going to be the people that you want to work with anyway. That's the audience that you're going to want to attract. And if you're a dog lover and there are people catching your videos that hate dogs, that one sounds so weird to me. Who would hate dogs? Then fine, they're going to go away organically. The trash takes itself out. You wouldn't want to work with somebody who doesn't love dogs anyway, or somebody that hates dogs for that matter. So yeah, there are a lot of things. All right, so that's really it. Get started on this stuff, okay? Josh will let me show that. If you guys want to get on my calendar for an hour to talk about any of this stuff, and for those of you that have caught this as the first webinar we've done with Showami, we did do a big one a month or two ago on social media. We did do one before that on contact management, calendar management. I'm happy to spend an hour with you guys working on whatever it is you think you need to work on. That QR code will get you on my calendar. Other than that, I really don't have a whole lot to say about anything beyond this, except Showami is amazing. You guys are obviously already using it, or you wouldn't be seeing this. I have nothing but love for the Kuchars. The only thing that bothers me is they're not in Colorado anymore. Florida would be the well, and I'm not big on orange. Yeah, the orange
Oh man,
are another thing. It's just not in my palette.
it's
Just
not in
not
there.
it's not in my color palette. And I shouldn't say that because I am in Denver. I am a big Broncos fan. Go orange and blue. In any case, guys, Showami is one of these services that's peripheral to the real estate industry that provides one of the most amazing products at a cost far below what it probably should be, although I'm not going to give them any insight to that because I don't want you guys to have to pay more. And Josh and Matt come from the heart. They created this product with nothing but pure intention to help. Now, we come across a lot of organizations, private, government, on and on, where the motivation ends up being pure and then the execution ends up being crap, or the motivation is pure and then they get greedy. Whatever the case may be, Showami is such a shining star in the absolute world of cartoon right now. And you guys all know the world is a cartoon, where they started from a motivation of how do we really help people find a need, see a need, and then how do we make it where anybody who is involved in the real estate business can participate on one side or the other or both. And it's always been like that all these years. If you guys are not using Showami on the regular and turning your colleagues onto it, please do. It may be one of the greatest tools available to a real estate agent that I know of. I've been writing mortgages, involved in the real estate business since 1996, and it's the best of the best. And no, Josh did not pay me to say that. but apparently he is going to buy me an orange jacket.
Matt's got you for the next webinar.
Oh, is that Matt? Okay, that was Matt that commented that. Matt,
on LinkedIn.
Matt, I'm a 46 long.
We did get. Thank you so much for all the kind words. I really appreciate that. We did get one question, and it's about the wireless lab.
Oh no, L-A-V, lavalier. A lavalier microphone. So this would be a wired mic, but like what you see people wear when they're doing news broadcasts, those kinds of things, that where it's just a clip on your shirt would be a lavalier mic.
I have one right here.
I used to keep one on my desk everywhere. I know there are a bunch in my backpack. That's a good example of one today. Yep. And the one that Josh is wearing, while bigger than the ones I use for my wireless, mobile wireless, because I want them to be light and fit in my backpack with 1,000 other things, it has a ridiculous battery life, that one that Josh just showed you. I will say this. This microphone, most of the wired labs I have, the wireless labs I have, I believe they are all a brand called Maono. M-A-O-N-O. And if you do a search on that in Amazon, you'll find all kinds of great products.
Yes. Guys, I have a crazy good tip for if you're really wanting to get better at live video. And I know Adam talked about outsourcing the video editing. I completely agree. But here's what I want you to do. I actually want you to edit your own videos when you first start.
Oh, you have to.
The first at least 4 or 5. Here's why. You're going to find how often you say ums and uhs, where you stop, where you say like. You're going to find the mannerisms in your own self by editing yourself before you start handing that over to somebody. I 100% agree with him. You should hand it over at some point in time. But to get really good at your live videos, if you want to get to the point where you're not saying those words, you're like accurate, you're spot on, you're not tripping over your words, 100% edit your own videos first. You will just thank me later because it is 100% true. And I know Adam's like, yeah, please do. Like,
certainly. Well, and I do think, I think if we're talking about production video that's going to be edited, yes, it's probably scripted. So we're probably going to eliminate quite a bit of that along the way. But I do think that there's another valuable point in editing some of your own first videos, because if you do that, then you can show someone how you want them.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't just reach out to my VA, and she's amazing, and had been doing a lot of work for me prior to my team convincing me to finally let go of the video editing. But I said, hey, look, I've been doing this for years, so go look at the videos I've done. And then here, here's the raw video, here are the assets, here's the music, here's the script, because I will write into the script where, using different fonts, italics, bolds, etc. She knows that's a trigger to zoom in on my face or zoom out or to cut in with whatever piece of pop culture she's now doing the legwork on. So yeah, I do think it's important to edit your own videos at the beginning for those reasons. One, you're going to learn a lot about how you record. Watching that raw video is rough, but you guys have got to understand, as hard as it is to watch your own raw video, that green screen video, the magic happens in the editing.
Mm-hmm.
It will come out to be a product you're proud of, I promise. But yeah, the other piece of it, of course, is edit them yourself so that you know what you want. So
Yes.
you can show someone else what you want your finished product to be.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree. One of the things that actually, another little hint or thing that I've kind of come into is I started using CapCut for shorts.
Amazing tool.
Specifically for videos that are more montage, stuff that doesn't require a face, things like this. And the reason why is because the templates, you can just throw a bunch of videos in a really good template. And I kid you not, guys, I have a video that on Instagram now has over 12,000 views.
Well, wait, because the viewership is important, the traction is important, the exposure is important. But how much time and money did you spend on the editing of that video?
I spent 20 minutes because all it was literally pulling photos and videos from a trip to New York and plugging it in.
CapCut.
Using CapCut.
Selecting the template. Yep.
Plug, play, push off. And
so for 20 minutes and no dollars.
Yeah. And it ended up being like a free way to gain followers, right? When you have 12,000 plus views on a video, that starts getting you more followers over time. And now it's searchable. It's actually ranking on Instagram, which I think is really cool. But it was just simple, just going on CapCut to do stuff like this and thinking a little bit outside the box. Playing with their templates also inspires me to think about other videos that I could possibly do.
True story. And again, more people consuming more of your content.
Yes.
That's the goal with social media.
It is.
Yeah.
And YouTube and all that, and informational videos, guys, 100%. I think the other piece that gets missed a lot, believe it or not, is also your thumbnail. It is the first piece of interaction.
That's a big one.
And I think it's kind of cool when you sit down and listen to like a Mr. Beast talk. He spends,
I love that you said Mr. Beast,
an ungodly amount of money on just his thumbnail and time. And he analyzes every piece of that thumbnail, which I thought was really interesting. And to learn that that's his thing, because it's the first interaction somebody has with your video.
Yep.
And so it's so important to catch their attention right there and then.
Yep. I cannot express that enough. No question about it. And I think if you guys really, really pay attention to it, particularly at the onset, then you'll find that it is really doable to create a thumbnail for a specific playlist that is enough of a template, and I highly recommend Canva for this kind of work, that you can really, really manipulate it in a manner that's going to be easy. In fact, I don't know if StreamYard will let me share my screen on top of, I guess it will let me share my screen. Let's see here. So
remove this, and you can go ahead and add it to the stage, I believe.
Maybe. Let's see if I separate out my tabs here, but yep, there it is. So and it'll just be a quick look for you guys. But yeah, that's one of my playlists. That's the weekly little tip. And the thumbnail is almost identical in every one. The topic changes. I do the same thing for our weekly podcast, video cast, How I Met Your Mortgage. The only thing that changes is the guest's photo, and then obviously the description. But yeah, absolutely. It is so easy to do some simple graphic work, really focus hot and heavy on creating that great thumbnail, and then you can utilize it.
Yep.
And kind of with your milestone videos, use them for every buyer and seller for the next 2 or 3 years, unless there are major guideline changes or you need to change a video out because, well, the way your commissions are structured changed because of a NAR settlement, hypothetical, right? Not so hypothetical. So, yeah, I think that there are a lot of ways to put in some decent effort, some decent creativity, some little bit of workload. Like, your biggest workload when it came to that video that you did in CapCut that got such great traction was taking the photos and videos.
Yep.
You were going to do it anyway. You have to have a thumbnail anyway. Invest a little bit more time up front, and the dividends for a long time to come are huge.
And I will give you all one last secret tip that most people actually didn't know about YouTube. In fact, I'm curious to see if Adam knew this one. Did you know that you can always, everybody knows that you can switch your thumbnails later. Most people actually don't know that piece. But did you know it actually pushes you back into the algorithms and shows your video to a minimum of 20 more people to re-engage the audience and potentially rank you back higher?
That's interesting.
So what it does is it says, okay, if these 20 people will now watch your video for that specific, algorithmic amount of time, usually it's at least 15 to 20% on the lower side. If you can get 30% engagement, even better. But what it does is it will take that video and give it to another 20 people. And if those 20 people start watching it for that 30% or more, you're golden, and you'll start re-ranking your video all over again.
Amazing.
Fun last little tip, guys.
And I did not know that. I have recently employed my 10-year-old who does stream his live VR gaming to his YouTube channel as my YouTube channel manager.
That's awesome.
So he went in and cleaned up and organized the playlists, and I'm going to have him go change some thumbnails.
It's usually, and you use this very sparingly, you use it for older videos that you want to resurface again.
Yep.
Maybe they're back to being, you take a look, you can always look in your YouTube analytics with what their rankings are starting to look like. If you start seeing that it starts dropping, then that little refresh, it's kind of like refreshing a blog. It helps push you right back to the top just for that short period of time. And then if it works during that short period of time, it sustains. Guys, give a big thank you to Adam real quick in the comments for sitting down and doing this with us. He is an amazing coach. Again, he does this out of his love for us at Showami. He is, he's willing to do this on a monthly basis with us. It's been incredible to have him and to go through these journeys with him. And we have so much appreciation for Adam. And he gives you some of these great pieces of information, these great tips at nothing. He doesn't expect anything. If you guys want to go through his coaching, by all means, he's always welcome to talk. But at the same time, he just wants to give education and teach you guys how to grow your business and be even stronger. So we appreciate that.
And that is the want. I want people to have more clients. I want people to have more closings. I want to elevate the entire industry.
Yes. And bring everybody to the next level.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing this. We want to get you guys from some of those lower transaction numbers to the next level, to that next level of transactions. Monica, thank you for saying thank you. We appreciate you. Definitely go back and share this if you guys found this very useful. You'll find this on YouTube next week. It'll also be in our email blast. So by all means, definitely share this, watch it again. There are lots of hints, lots of pieces. I've dropped a bunch of knowledge bombs. Adam has dropped a lot of knowledge bombs. We want to make sure that you guys get every piece of this. And sometimes we know that when you're watching an hour-long video with us live, you kind of can only grab so much. So by all means, definitely come back and watch this again. We appreciate you all, and I hope everybody has a great day.